Welcome to the Business of Design podcast. I'm Cheryl Horn, Director of Operations for Business of Design. A lot has changed at Business of Design since this episode originally aired. For the latest information and rates on events and membership at Business of Design, head to businessofdesign.com. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to Business of Design. This is episode number 131, and I have even bigger numbers coming at you. That's right. Let me see if you can guess what I'm talking about. 12 million square feet. Does that give it away? How about 2,000 showrooms, 180 buildings, and 75,000 people? That's just some of the math you're going to run into at High Point Market if you're planning on going this October. We're going to have a conversation with an interior design professional that I just adore. Her name is Marisa Wilson, and she creates the Cool Girls Guide to High Point Market. I love working with Marisa, and she's going to give us some tips on how to conquer market, how to really own the market and make the most of it. And these tips, by the way, will apply whether you're going to High Point Market or to Las Vegas Market or to Maison et Objet in Paris. It's just great information you can use. So I think you'll enjoy Marisa.
Welcome to the Business of Design podcast with Kimberley Seldon. Business of Design is the coaching community for independent designers like you. We know it takes more than hard work and talent to successfully run a professional design firm. There are proven business strategies that can solve your immediate challenges and transform your life. Don't try to do this alone. Join today and you'll have access to more than 100 video courses, participate in monthly coaching calls, and find unlimited support within our exclusive members-only Facebook group. Unlike traditional coaching, BOD is a fast track to immediate results for independent interior designers, decorators, architects, stagers, and landscapers just like you. Monthly membership is only $79. What are you waiting for? We all know design matters. At Business of Design, we think designers matter too.
Before we jump into the show, while we're talking about High Point Market, we want you to join us there. Saturday, October 19th at the theater, Kimberley will be discussing the professional life you've always wanted. It's a free seminar, so come on out and join us. That's at 10 o'clock in the morning. Again, High Point Theater. Later on that day, come and celebrate with us. Business of Design is turning 15, and we're celebrating with High Point Market. 5 to 7 p.m. at the Point. Join us for cake and bubbly, and of course, Kimberley and Team BOD will be there. It is a free event, but we want to know who's coming. Please RSVP at businessofdesign.com and let us know. Next up, we have the Business of Design Conference in partnership with Las Vegas Market and Build Lane. This is shaping up to be an amazing event, and I'm so excited that we already have some of our Business of Design chapter advocates on the list, some longtime members, and some brand new names to Business of Design. So I'm so excited for this one. It's coming up January 25th and 26th, 2020. Yes, we're talking about 2020 already. It's 2 full days of intense learning, Business of Design style. So whether you're new to Business of Design or you've been a member for a long time, there's going to be some foundational information, some brand new content. You will walk away with information you can implement immediately. So this is a great way to fast track your business and really make 2020 an amazing year for your business. Again, Saturday, January 25th and Sunday, January 26th. Las Vegas Market kicks off on the Monday, so you can do both. But a date that's coming up sooner, October 1st, prices go up. So if you want to get in on the early bird rate of just $11.95, you have 1 week left to get your ticket. That price will end September 30th, and as of October 1st, prices will go up to $13.95, which is still the best value in the industry. So sign up now and you'll save $200 on the conference, plus bonus, come hang out with Kimberley and Team BOD at Las Vegas Market. Full details are on the website, businessofdesign.com. You can register now. We will be adding more details in the months to come. We hope to see you there. Last but not least, this Wednesday, September 25th, we have our premium group coaching session. 1 p.m. EST. Registration is open, so make sure you register for that. Or if you're unable to attend or in a different time zone, since we do have members around the world, please submit your questions in advance and I will do my best to get them all in front of Kimberly. We hope you can join us. And now, back to the show.
Marisa, it's so nice to talk to you this way. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful for the opportunity, Kimberly. And I can't believe, you were there at my very first market and you gave me that first butt kick of business is real, people. It was so amazing. I will never forget it. And you were so generous and kind to me because I was a doofus and left my wallet in the car or something dumb. And you let me pay for it later, but I still got it signed. And I promptly ordered all your other books, by the way. I'm such a huge fan. And I can't believe that I'm on the phone talking to you today. It is such an honor. So I really appreciate it.
So nice. Thank you so much. That's sweet of you.
How are you?
I'm good, but getting ready for High Point, and I know that must be a really big part of your life too.
Absolutely. A lot of planning and hours goes into the preparation for market.
Well, you start much earlier than most of us because Marisa and I know each other because she runs this super cool thing called the Cool Girls Guide to High Point Market. So it's a bit redundant to say cool twice, but it's super cool. So that's great.
Super cool. Yeah.
Tell me how you came up with the idea for Cool Girls Guide.
So I had been attending market since I first started my business 5 years ago, actually. So I went for the first time in fall 2014. And I've learned a lot since then. And I always put together a really comprehensive plan of which events I'm going to attend and which showrooms I want to visit. And you just really have to be on top of it and stay organized. So I was doing this for me and my other designer friends. They basically didn't end up having to do any of the planning on their own. They just counted on me to do it for us. And then at one point they suggested, hey, a lot of other people could benefit from all the hours of planning that you put into going to market. You should just put together the guide and see what happens from there. And so this market is going to be the fourth version of the Cool Girls Guide, and it gets better every time. I tell you what, we just keep adding more content, and it keeps growing in momentum. So it's been really exciting. But it's really that from the designer's perspective. So a lot of people attend market, people that are retailers, designers, people from all different aspects of the industry, editors. But this is really, from the designer's perspective and sort of that insider look at all the things that you absolutely can't miss while you're there. And it's my perspective, but I have help from other people. So I've asked other designers for their advice, including you, Kimberly. So I have great advice from other industry experts that are also included in the guide.
Well, if you've never been to High Point, this may seem a bit crazy, right? But once you get there, it's really clear that you better have a plan. And to have a plan from someone who's also an interior design professional like Marisa is really comforting. You know that you're going to get started and you're not at the end of 3 or 4 days going to realize you missed all the great things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't imagine if you showed up and hadn't put any thought into what you wouldn't know what to do. You just wouldn't even know where to start.
But that is how most of us show up, right? I remember the first time I came and I was like, wait a minute, what? What is here? Oh my gosh. And I think we sort of spent the entire 3 or 4 days chasing events, which we just missed. We'd show up at a showroom and they go, oh, you should have been here yesterday. We had an amazing lunch with a band. We're like, what? Oh, that's too bad. It's everywhere we went, we just missed the most fun things. So you don't have to do that anymore because Marisa's got it all figured out. But for those who maybe haven't been to High Point or those who have been but haven't really taken advantage of it yet, what would you say are some of the things they need to think about as they prepare for this big trip?
For starters, I think there's so much happening at market. So there's educational courses, there's networking. Obviously, you're going to be there to look at things for your clients. So there's the buying aspect. And then there's also just like discovering new showrooms and learning about new introductions, the first thing I always say for people to do is to set your intentions ahead of time of what are going to be your goals? Like, why are you going to market, right? Like, what do you want to achieve while you're there? And it can be, you know, like I like all of those things. I like the educational aspect. I like meeting people and networking. I do work for clients also, but you have to know what you want to accomplish while you're there. So you really want to know ahead of time so that you can build your schedule around accomplishing those things.
Such a good first tip, because the first time I went, my intention was like, I want to go to High Point. That was my intention. And,
Me too.
you know, and that's, yeah, I got there, but I don't know that I felt that I really did it right. So thinking about what are the most important things you're going to accomplish when you're there, I think is really important. And then scheduling those important things first. So if you're working on a project and you need to source, I think last market, I had a couple of clients that I was sourcing outdoor furniture for. So my focus was outdoor living spaces. So that really helped me figure out, I'm going to go to this, and this in one building, and that, and that in another building. And then with the time that was left over, I could take in an educational class or, you know, go and to enjoy tequila at Four Hands or whatever it is.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You have to know ahead of time, or it can all get swept away with other activities, because there's always something fun happening. There's always something shiny and new to check out. If you haven't set that intention and decided what are your main reasons for being there, especially for the client purposes, the time can just go by and you've missed it. So, I love that you did that. It's perfect. And there's something for everyone, right? So there's every single kind of furnishing from top to bottom and every different price point. So you'll find what you need, but it does take a little bit of research on the front end.
It does. And you can exhaust yourself running from building to building if you don't have a plan in advance. So one of my strategies is to list out the things I know I have to do. And then I give myself permission to discover one or two new resources in every building I have to go to anyway. And little by little, after so many years now, I feel like I've kind of gotten a handle on who's actually at High Point finally, but it takes years.
It does take years, and you have to chip away at it. Like you said, like you'll go somewhere where you know you need to be, and then something cool will be next door to that, and you'll have a chance to pop in and learn about that company. But just for a little perspective for the listeners who maybe haven't been to market, we're talking about 180 buildings, right? There's like 12 million square feet of show space. 2,000 more than 2,000 exhibitors. So you're not even going to go to all the things. Like, I think some people might think, oh, you picture like it's a big building and you make your way through it over the course of 3 or 4 days. No, you're never going to go to all the things. Like,
not
you just
even close.
Yeah, not even close. A tiny percentage. Like, for example, on the guide, I've narrowed it down to what I think are like the top 50 showrooms. That's out of those 2,000, right? So 50 places where if you've never been here before, these are great ones to start with. And then you can start to explore some of the other places on your own. But it's just massive.
Massive. And you can always spot the newbies because they're wearing high heels. And you're like, oh, you are so done. I'm going to see you later today carrying your shoes.
Oh, yeah. There's always a spare. Even if you wear flats, sometimes you still have to have spare shoes in your bag because those just like can't hack it for like the whole day. But I do think that's one of like the biggest conundrums of market because it is very fashion oriented. We're talking about designers from all across the globe. So they're coming to showcase themselves as designers. And everyone wants to look really good and everyone wants to not be wearing the same thing they wore at last market. And there's just a lot of planning, I think, that goes into the outfits as well. Especially you just have like, it's the comfort factor plus the beautiful factor. And the shoes are the number one hardest thing.
We always have blister Band-Aids in our purses because, like you said, even flats, you get blisters. And the thing about High Point Market is you will also experience at least 3 different weather fronts while you're there. It'll be hot, then it'll be cold, then there'll be a hurricane. So even if you think you're prepared, you're not prepared.
No, that absolutely happened. I can't remember if it was like 2 or 3 markets ago when it was the hurricane. It might have been 3. But yeah, that actually happened. Like one of the buildings lost power the first day of market. And there's always rain. It doesn't even matter how hard you pray for no rain, because there is a lot of walk. There's tons you can do while it's raining, right? Because the buildings are massive and you can, spend your time looking through everything. But eventually you will have to go outside and go between the buildings. And it's inevitable that there's always going to be at least one day. I mean, last market, I think the forecast was like 4 days straight of rain or something. And I just wanted to cry.
Yeah. I remember feeling somewhat soggy by the end, like I'd had enough, but I also have had markets that are pretty sunny. So that's one thing. Just be prepared for anything in terms of weather, like really anything. But as you say, you can stay warm and dry inside, and people are kind of incredibly generous in terms of they'll serve warm drinks, they'll serve hot soup. So they'll accommodate the weather that's happening. So we've set our intentions. We know what we need to focus on at market. What next should we consider to make the trip great?
Okay. So while you're there, you're going to want to be really organized. So I counted before this interview, I took 850 photos at last market, which I know is kind of insane. And I might have, some of that might be extra because I do the guide. So I have to keep up with some different things that other people might not. But I'm pretty sure I've always at least had a minimum of 400 photos.
Easy. Like it happens so quickly.
Yeah. So when you get home, you think you will, but you will not remember where you saw that blue chair or that beautiful dining table.
Right.
So definitely one of the things is having a game plan when you go of how you're going to organize your photos. So I like to take a photo of the name of the showroom that I'm going in. And then I know that everything after that is from that showroom. But sometimes I forget, and I definitely later don't know where that thing came from.
Yeah, that's our strategy too. I thought it was so clever, and you went and gave it away. So obviously, there's lots of people who already know this, but take a picture of the space as you enter, and then you snap away, and the next shot that's a storefront will indicate that you've moved to a different shop. That's the best tip of all.
Yes, because again, hundreds of photos, you're seeing all these amazing things you've never seen before. And you might not be able to tell, just from context where you were or what introduction that was from, because it might be really different than the style that company has had before. So it can really throw you off.
Good tip. Figure out what you're going to do with the photographs. And then what about charging your phone? That is a thing.
Oh my gosh, yes. So the signal at market is very bad, unfortunately.
Horrible.
It may be improving, I'm not sure.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. So when you're in some of the buildings, you have no signal. So you can't, you get excited and you want to post your pictures and you want to do it right then. And it will think of, until you basically leave the building, and then you've used up half your battery. So you definitely want to have the backup battery chargers with you. There are a lot of charging stations too. So I know Market Square has, I'm sure all of the buildings have them. And some of the showrooms I think have picked up on that as well as a perk for stopping into their showroom. Hey, charge up your phone. And I know the Point has, that has a bunch of charging stations. And that's one of the benefits of going there is just to stop in, relax for a second, charge your phone, and then be on your way. But you really have to think about that because it can be 10 a.m. and your battery is already done.
I've totally had that happen before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? And then you're running around trying to find some plug that you can hijack.
Yes,
it is
if you even remembered your charger.
Yeah, right? It's getting so much better in that regard. But I remember people used to go to extraordinary lengths, carry these extra battery packs that weighed so much. It's like, oh my gosh, it's too much.
Yeah, it's just like one more thing you have to remember and think of. And that's the thing. So you have to, don't forget to charge up not just your phone, but the backup batteries the night before. So like everything has to be all charged up and ready to go.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we're prepared with blister Band-Aids, phone, backup charger, and backup batteries. What is your take on catalogs?
Oh, good question. So the first couple of times I went, I definitely loaded up because, well, that's the other thing. So you probably are bringing a tote, but there's like 1 billion totes to be had at market.
Oh my gosh. There's a tote a minute.
Yeah, tote a minute. You will leave with 20 totes if you're not careful. So there's definitely going to be something to carry the catalogs in. But yeah, I think I learned the hard way. Like I just was so overwhelmed and so excited about all the new things that but then you are going to be so weighed down. Your bag is going to weigh like 50 pounds by the end of the day. And you've been lugging it for like 12 hours. So that's day one.
Yeah, it starts out fun and you think, oh, I can't wait to go and look at this. But by the end of the day and you have a 50-pound bag, you'll just be cursing. So I think just say no to the catalogs. And we also will take a picture of our rep when we enter the store, because you know how everybody scans your badge. So you've got this badge when you enter a store, right? And people come running at you to scan your badge. And you're like, what's happening? Well, what's happening is they're trying to identify who your salesperson is. And if that salesperson is in the shop, they will come running to you and give you a business card. And we've learned to just take a picture of the business cards. So it's in the photos behind the name of the store. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect. That was a really good point. Like same thing with cards is having that picture back up so you don't have to actually carry it. And I think a lot of the showrooms will also either email you the catalog or mail it to you aftermarket so that you don't have to carry it around. So yeah, either say no or request one of those options so that it's not something you're lugging around.
Oh, yeah. And trust me, aftermarket, you're going to get hit up by 12,000 people because when they scan you, they automatically add you to every newsletter they have, right? I mean, there's just no way around it.
Pretty much. A lot of emails aftermarket.
Yeah.
Just one more thing about staying organized is, so you've taken all the pictures, you've been really strategic, you have the showroom photo, but then aftermarket, since you do have so many hundreds of photos, if you put them make a folder on your phone, and then you can even upload those to Dropbox if you need to, so you can have them as quick reference wherever you are. So just one more step aftermarket so that you can stay organized with everything that you saw.
It's kind of incredible how often we go back to those folders because we do use Dropbox and we'll say, October market 2019, and then we'll name the stores. We'll create folders for each of the stores and we'll put the product within the folder. And it is incredible. We'd be working on a project and we'll go, wait a minute, remember at market, we went to this store. What was it? We saw this, and we'll go back into those folders and we're like, there it is. That's the thing I'm looking for.
Ooh, I love that. So I haven't taken it to the next level with the folder for each store.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
I'm kind of odd in that. I'm kind of OCD in this way. Like the office cracks up at how organized we are. But I can't tell you how many times that's come in handy.
Yeah, you won't know if you don't do that.
Exactly.
So brilliant. So the next step would be to be social. So there are 75,000 attendees at each market. So twice a year, there are 75,000 people coming to market. And the town itself, in general, only has like 100,000 people. So it's like double the size almost twice a year. It's so funny and kind of random. If you've never been, it really is a small, like North Carolina town, just like a typical Southern small town. And then twice a year, it explodes into this like global mecca of all beautiful furniture things. So it's kind of crazy.
Oh, and if you have a design crush or these days, even a celebrity crush, there's a pretty good chance you may run into some of them at High Point anyway.
You won't believe like the people that are, like, it just blows your mind that they're doing work too. Sometimes they're there for events or they're on panels or they're speakers. But in addition to that, that's where everybody goes to do their work for clients and learn about new items. So like, you know, from a person who just started their business to Bunny Williams, who will be sitting next to you at the restaurant, and you just have to like keep your cool and be totally normal.
She's an amazing lady. Yeah,
Yes.
She's an amazing lady. I think people are super excited about Diane Keaton this year. And
Oh, I am very excited.
Yeah, she's incredible. What a great actor. Although I have to say I have mixed feelings about the fact that she's launching a line of lighting. It's like, really? I wonder.
Yeah, that happens every once in a while. There was another person last time. Jane Seymour, I think, was the one. And it's
right.
It's interesting crossover industries. But, you know, a lot of people do it, musicians and whatever, if they can,
Lenny
if that's an
Kravitz.
interest of theirs.
Yeah. Well, Diane Keaton, I think, has a real interest in architecture and design. So I will kind of give her a pass. I'm not so sure about Jane Seymour. She seems like a lovely woman, but it'll be interesting to hear what they have to say about design.
Yes.
In terms of being social, then it's not just, you know, you may bump into someone you have a design crush on, but there are really hardworking interior design professionals everywhere you go. And you can usually spot them because we're just exhausted. Right?
Yep.
By day 2, it's like, oh my gosh, this is hard. Slugging through the buildings, especially if you have projects that you're working on. Like last time I really had work I had to get done. And so when I would run into somebody I know, it was fun, but I'm like, oh, I got to finish this thing. Sorry, can't talk now. But there are times when you just should be social. Yes.
There's a lot of fun events. So I do think they tend to have like the educational stuff during the day and some social. And what's great about the market schedule on their website is broken out into educational. It's tagged educational or social. Mm-hmm. So that way, back to those intentions, it's sort of like knowing which ones you're more interested in participating in this time. But you can get a lot of work done during the day. And then when all the happy hours start, you can maybe let loose a little more and be, you know, social and friendly and make your way around to all the different parties and, you know, have a little fun at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I would say happy hours kind of start around 3, don't they? It
Yeah.
seems to me it's kind of early.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't mind.
Alcohol is basically available all day long, right? Because people start off with the Bloody Marys and the mimosas, and there's basically going to be wine at any point. And, you know, it's easy to say yes because it's fun and like they're offering, and it's like but you have to focus on whatever your task is. So like you were saying, if you're working on your project, it's probably better to hold off until the 3 o'clock happy hour point.
Oh yeah. The minute I have a drink, I'm done. I'm off work. Like I just can't even care after that. I'm like, this wine is so good. What project?
I know. Yeah. It basically goes completely out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to separate those two things. And people really are there in a professional capacity. I've never seen anybody going crazy at a party.
No.
Even after hours. It is a professional setting, and there's a good possibility someone's taking a picture and you're in it
yes.
at all times of the day or night. So be aware of that. So there's time to be social. There's time for education, which is really important. We are appearing at the theater at 10 a.m. on this Saturday. So that's a good time for people. Like you have enough time to get your coffee and, you know, have breakfast, come for some serious learning, and then go and focus on getting your projects sourced. And then that same night, we're having a party, which is not educational. It's just fun at the point. It's Business of Design's 15th birthday party. So we'll be celebrating there with champagne and cupcakes and prizes. And so that's kind of a good overview of what High Point is like. A little bit of learning, a little bit of shopping, a little bit of fun and social time.
Absolutely. I'm excited about your birthday party. It's going to be really fun.
Oh my gosh, we are dying. It is going to be such a celebration of this incredible community. The party is about you guys. It's about interior design professionals out there in the trenches, meeting the expectations of suppliers and trades and clients every single day and working so hard with so much heart. We're so excited to celebrate with this community. I'll be out there with Cheryl, who's our Director of Operations, Janine Laudenbach is our Programming Specialist, and Victoria Drainville, who's a Senior Interior Designer at Kimberley Seldon Design Group. Plus, we will introduce a whole bunch of BOD advocates and BOD members and BOD friends. And you're definitely one of our friends, Marisa. So thanks so much. I'm glad you're coming out to the party.
Me too.
If you want to get a copy of the Cool Girls Guide to High Point Market, and it tells you where all the things are, and it also gives you some great tips from some industry insiders, you can do that by going to Marisa's website, which is artfulinteriorsnc.com, like North Carolina, artfulinteriorsnc.com, and you can purchase that for $40. So even if you're going to High Point alone, and you're not sure if you've got your bearings, this can be a great resource to take you through High Point with ease. I can't recommend it enough. I also can strongly recommend that you find a quiet spot once in a while and just sit and power down, right? What do you recommend in that regard, Marisa?
Two places I like to stop off for a rest is the Point, where you can charge your phone, grab some food and drink. They even have flip-flops there sometimes if you need them. And then Universal Furniture has a beauty bar that they did for the first time at last market, and they're doing it again this time. And you can go get your hair and makeup touched up in 20-minute sessions. It's walk-in, and they're having it Saturday and Sunday, 12:30 to 5:30, and Monday 12 to 6. And I had the best time there, getting my hair and makeup touched up, and then going out Saturday night to all the events last market. So I highly recommend that.
I suspect that's going to be really packed.
Yeah, I think it really was last time too, and they had appointments, but I think it's so hard to keep up with your schedule, right? So there were some no-shows. I'm glad they're doing walk-ins so that they can really fill their time well.
Now, no one should be confused by the fact that this market guide you provide is a little side hustle. You're actually an interior design professional. So what do you do, Marisa, when you're at market?
So when I'm at market, I'm doing all the things that we talked about. So I have a lot of events that I like to attend because my strengths finder strength number one is I'm a learner. And so I like to soak it all in and learn. I'm still, my business is really new still. It's only 5 years old. So I'm still, and it's a second career. So I'm just learning all the things that I can. And I also like to, meet new people and discover new things. And one tip I will say, if you can get here early, I like to come on Friday. Technically, market starts on Saturday. But if you have any interest in the antique and vintage items, those are one of a kind and they go really fast. So my first stop is always at the Antique and Design Center in Market Square so that I can see if there's anything I need and snag it on the front side before everyone else scoops it up. So especially the more affordable items and the kind of cash and carry type of items, they're gone.
So true. That is such a good point. I always am there on the Friday, and it's not nearly as busy on the Friday. So it's such a good day to take advantage of those things. They also have shipping on site at High Point, so you don't have to worry about that kind of thing. You can get yourself organized while you're at market.
Yes. Yeah, I love Friday because it is a little slower. Not everyone's quite there yet, but there's, the people that are there are excited to be there. It's a little behind the scenes, actually, because people are still setting up their showrooms. So, there's construction happening certain places, and it's kind of oh, wow. How are they going to pull this together by tomorrow? But they do.
Somehow they do. Yeah, somehow they do. Do you have a favorite building?
I think it's Market Square. So, which includes the suites and, the older showrooms. And then of course the Antique and Design Center in between. Like I could spend the entire time there and never run out of stuff to see. So I
always end up buying a lot of things at Market Square, and I always bring an extra suitcase to High Point. I come with 2 suitcases, both barely anything in them. And I leave High Point Market with 2 full suitcases, and I buy pillowcases, lamps, rugs, carpet. I bought everything at High Point. And then I come home and it's so much fun to put those things in inventory and then be able to sell them to clients and know that I'm going to make great margins on them because they're wholesale.
Yes. Good plan. So I'm learning a lot of tips from you too.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
There's so many fun things. A couple of the things on the guide, I included some cash and carry spots. So I also like to pick up some jewelry or pajamas or bags for myself.
Scarves. Yeah.
Yeah. There's tons of stuff there that's just fun shopping in general. And they've got you because you're there and you're looking, and especially the shoe sections. I've never had to break down and buy any of the shoes, but there are shoes there for sale if that happens to you.
Well, and things are such a great price. That's crazy, right? Some big comforters and cushions and purses, they're wholesale. Yes. So you do get a little carried away sometimes, it's true.
Yeah, because we're all shoppers, right? I mean, mostly. So, it's just something else fun that we can do. And I've bought artwork there for myself and clients. So
Absolutely. So make sure you talk to your accountant. The trip is a write-off, and then you want to make sure that you're able to do some of your purchasing and be smart about how that enters your company inventory and what happens next. So definitely something to talk to your accountant about as you decide to make the trip to High Point. Marisa, this has been so much fun. We like to end every episode with design intervention. What is cooking under your cool girl's hat?
I am super excited about Marie Forleo's book, Everything is Figure-Outable, coming out.
Absolutely.
So that's a philosophy that she's had for years, but she's just turned it into a book that releases sometime early September. It's really the philosophy that no obstacle is insurmountable, right? And every problem has a solution. So when you're always, I think in our industry, especially, we're problem solvers. So you're always coming up something that's new and fresh, and you really don't know how to handle it. And I like to keep that in mind, just that there's always a solution, and that everything has an answer to it. You just have to dig a little, maybe do some research, find a new person to bounce it off of. But I like keeping that in mind. And also, my mom always said that ain't nobody gonna die. And I actually printed that out and framed it because we're not in the life or death business.
No, we are not.
Thank goodness. And the amount of heart palpitations I've had about pillows is unnecessary.
Totally unnecessary, and yet it still happens, doesn't it? So it's
totally
good to be reminded.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it can get out of control. So you have to have a little perspective sometimes that this is, we're in a business, our clients are people, we are people. And everything has a solution. So really, there's no reason to have a meltdown.
I love it. Your mom sounds like my mama. Ain't nobody gonna die.
Ain't nobody gonna die.
Yeah. And I like to tell my clients too, there is no such thing as a decorating emergency.
Yes, I remember that from your books. It's so 100% true. There's just not an emergency.
But I'll tell you what is an emergency. You all need to go and get your copy of Cool Girl's Guide to High Point Market, and then show up at High Point Market in October and hang out with Marisa and hang out with me and Business of Design and Team BOD. We will all be there and looking forward to another great market. Marisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimberly. I look forward to seeing you in October.
Thank you for being a part of the Business of Design community. If you love what you hear on the podcast, take the next step by signing up at businessofdesign.com. As our thank you, you'll gain access to Business of Design's 15-step project management strategy, a free introductory course which includes 3 Business of Design systems you can implement for immediate results. And when you're ready for success, a Business of Design membership, monthly or annual, will dramatically improve your business and your life. What are you waiting for? To Together we will achieve extraordinary results. Start today